Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have an anonymous male left behind and forward-moving spouse with a bomb drop of February 20th, 2024, a date of marriage of 2016. He has a boomerang who is a high-energy replayer. He says, after 5 months, I feel that the mindfulness and work that I have done on myself may have paid off to a degree, and my formerly angry, avoidant wife, who was always looking for a way to hurt me and score a win, has possibly calmed somewhat and is able to conduct conversations with very little manufactured conflict. My interactions with her are soon to be only via telephone, as I have resolved to move home and person-to-person contact will be impossible. My question is that although there is lots of advice on what to work on to make yourself calmer and respond better to provocation, but seemingly little about how to talk to them about what topics can be brought up and what topics are taboo. At only 5 months since bomb drop, I don't know if I should bring up relationship issues at all or just stick to non-triggering, bland conversations about business-like topics and perhaps a few light, happy memories. What is your opinion? Okay, so first I was going to ask, I had a little bit of a confusion. I think I know what you're saying, but it's said in the opposite manner of what's usually said. So I'm going to take it how I'm taking it, but I'm going to say what I'm saying. You said that you're not going, person-to-person contact will soon be impossible because you've resolved to move home. And usually the exact opposite is true. If you're moving home, person-to-person contact is now possible. So I'm assuming when you say you're resolving to move home, you're moving away from home, which home being with your wife. And when you say you're moving home, you're moving toward where your family of origin is, such as you're moving into your parents or geographically away from your wife. And you have been with her now, person to person, and you will no longer have that. So you will be more in text contacts. Is that what's happening? So that was the only real confusion about it. Because usually when we say, I've resolved to move home, it means you're going to have more person-to-person contact, and yet you're expressing the exact opposite. Okay, so I was just a little bit confused on that. But going on, since you are only 5 months out, what kind of topics can you or should you be able to discuss? Should you bring up relationship issues? Absolutely not. But what if she brings them up? Then what? That's where we go with the flow. And that's the same as in any situation. You follow their lead in topics. If they bring up these things, you follow their lead, but that doesn't mean you always just go there. Approach with caution. And sometimes you'll have these deep conversations. Sometimes you realize they're going there, but I don't think this is a good idea, and I'm just going to steer us off of this cliff that they're taking us off of. Because maybe it is a cliff. So approach with caution and be wary. But you can have those conversations. I would just not bring them up. Or if you are feeling that sometimes you really need to have that conversation, is there a way you can make it so that they bring it up? Can you steer a natural conversation so that they end up bringing it up and it feels like it was their idea? A little bit manipulating it, but it's not always manipulating in a bad way. In general, however, I would stick to, as you say, bland, non-triggering, business-like, light and happy memories. Yeah, I would. And how's the weather? The other stuff is going to come in at some point organically as you do it. And while you're doing some of those bland, non-triggering, light, you're going to also talk about her or you. You're going to talk about how proud you are of her, or what a great job she is doing with her work or whatever it is. And because one of the things that I like to think about with ML seers is ML seers don't believe in themselves. So somebody has to do it for them, and that's us. And so one of the things we do is we believe in our ML seers. And how do we do that? Well, we talk them up to them sometimes. We have to be careful that we're not doing it so much that it's obvious that we're going overboard. We want to be authentic with it as well. But we want to help them believe in themselves. And so some of what we're doing is helping boost their self-confidence. So the conversations will be there in that direction. So topics that help them feel secure and safe with us. Help them feel comfortable. Help them feel like they are allowed to be and can be vulnerable, even if they're not going to be, but like they can. That doesn't always have to mean that it's about our relationship. Okay? And sometimes you're going to start that by simply being neutral. Just take it slowly and be her friend. Okay? And that mindfulness, it seems to have taken some of the frayed energy off of the nerve endings so that she is not being as reactive. Because you said, how did you say it? Your formerly angry and avoidant wife was always looking to hurt you. And you have done some of your mindfulness work. And now you can have some conversations. Okay. So it sounds like she had some very frayed endings and was very sensitive. And she's just a little bit less sensitive now. She's been helped. It's helped to calm her. Okay? So she's feeling safer. That's a good thing. Just continue with that rather than we don't want her to feel like, oh, we got this far and now he just leapt to the next thing. He was just trying to do that so that he gets to this next stage. She needs to just keep feeling gradually safe. Frog in water. We don't want you to leap too far ahead of her progress. Okay? I want to say it's that simple, but it's not simple. And if you're going to be moving away from her, it might be a little more challenging for you, but it also might give her some space. So what I want you to do with her is a lot of reassurance. Reassurance that you're there and you're listening. Listening. Okay, a lot of listening. And when you're listening, that you're paying attention. And I don't know how you are and how she is and how she's felt, but I know how it can be. I'm a talker. I like to talk. I've been told that Chuck is a talker and that the two of us are like a radio. Going off when friends are around, they say that we just like to chat. And I tend to be a deep thinker and he's not. And so I know as I'm speaking, he's not really processing what I'm saying. So I know I don't have deep conversations with him. And I get used to that. But it would be lovely if somebody were really listening to me and responding back. And is she thinking that? So maybe that's what she's thinking. What does she want from your communications? Think about what she wants. Does she feel like she's being heard? What kind of a reassurances does she need? Especially for those frayed nerve endings. You've helped to soothe them a little bit just recently. Let's help maintain that, and let's reassure her that it's going to continue. And let's surprise her a little bit, but surprising her with more comfort, more reassurance, and listening. So what I would be really surprised at in a happy surprise way is if I were heard, if Chuck one day heard me and I really, heard what you said that time and then did something about it or listened or made a response just to a conversation we were having. If you did that, so if you're listening deeply, that might make a difference. I don't know. Or what is it that she felt in your relationship or that she needs from relationships that it might not be that kind of listening? I've noticed that sometimes women feel that about men, which is why I brought it up. Sometimes they feel like, yeah, he doesn't listen to me. He sits there and goes, which I notice. I notice we do it too. So think about that. What helps her feel safe? What is it that has been helping her feel safe lately? You felt more calm because you've become more calm with your mindfulness. And that worked. And she noticed. Did she notice it consciously or subconsciously? Because she seemed to feel safer. She became more calm. Was she aware of that? Keep up the behaviors and gradually add to them with more safety. Okay? But I wouldn't dive into official relationship talks yet. Okay, I hope this is helpful. And I will see everybody in the next question.